All right, let's get into today's trade. Starting off, we'll just start off with a high time frame bias. I was still pretty bullish on the weekly. I had no real reason to uh, be bearish just yet. I know we have this weekly gap, so that could be a potential draw. Um, and then on the daily, we had swept out the previous day low, so I was looking at a previous day high. Same story on ES. Now, in the 4 hours when things kind of started changing for me, we still had this open gap here. Actually, it got inverted, so that, and then we had this 4 hour bearish that was holding price down. Same story on ES as well. So that was where my bias started to change a little bit, but we were still putting in higher highs and higher lows, as you can see. So structure overall is bullish. ES, on the other hand, has kind of just been sideways. So that's that. But NQ was looking fairly bullish. So we kind of have neutral biases all around um, for the day. So I was just going to play off of what kind of the other sessions did before and kind of the price action of what was getting respected and disrespected. So let's start off with the first thing I was looking at. So the first thing I looked at when the market opened was this 15-minute gap right here, the bullish gap. So I was looking at that gap to see if I could possibly get some longs. We had already tapped into it, so I would have probably liked to see a second sweep and then a two candle rejection if we were going higher off of it. And there's actually a really clean London reversal here too, so we could have played a continuation up to the highs. So that's kind of what I was looking at. If we go into the first AM macro, we also had data highs, swept, and then came down, took out data lows. That was actually really clean that I was watching. Okay, so there wasn't really any interesting setup that was offered. I mean, there was this possible long up to the 15-minute, but there's a 5 minute holding price down, so I wasn't too interested in that. And then we come up, and here's my trade for the day. So we tapped the 15-minute gap that I had marked out. I still was aiming for the London lows. That was my draw on liquidity for the day, and I had pretty high conviction that we would go there. I mean, anything can happen, but that was my draw. So starting off, we had a pretty normal session and then a huge kind of just drop lower. Um, I was a little bit 50-50, but my draw was still pretty strong. And I saw my set of form, and I can't really just pick and choose which ones I take. I got to take all the. If it hits 100% of my strategy, I gotta execute, and that's what I did. So I executed on the trade. We came up here, I executed, pulled down a short. Um, Here's where I kind of had trouble with it mentally. So we had swept out this low on ES, which was a low I was targeting. I put in an SMT not only here but with this low too. So I was kind of iffy about it. But I was still wanting to see the London lows, and I liked the way the structure was forming. So the trade, I had my limit order set, came triggered. Unfortunately, I was stopped out, but that just happens sometimes. I mean, there's not much about it. The trade overall was clean. Everything that I looked for was there, so I followed my rules, and that's a win for me today. And my analysis was on point as well. So pretty much, there's not much to go off of. I did everything pretty much on par with how I'm supposed to be doing it. So uh, pretty good trading there for me. Even though it's coming off of a loss, that just puts me one trade closer to a win. So, yep, that's that.